Assalamu alaikum. My name is Kareem, and I'm Egyptian American living in Flint, Michigan. I'm currently going to school at University of Michigan Flint and majoring in general biology. My parents moved to America before me or any of my siblings were born. America was a huge change from Egypt, and even though they adapted, Egyptian culture is still a huge part of them and their lives. Although me and my siblings couldn't go to Egypt every single year, my parents did a lot to bring Egypt home to us. Firstly, they made sure we knew the language and our religion. They sent us to Jinsi Academy, which was an Islamic school in which we learned Arabic and Islamic studies, and we learned the Quran, which is the holy book in Islam. My parents also did their part at home by speaking to us in Arabic for the most part, and making that a priority in the household. In addition to that, they also made sure that we always prayed together, and praying together brought in that aspect of unity and oneness, and also showed me the importance of prayer in my religion and the positive effects that it has, even the simple ones like bringing people together. I remember one of the biggest things my dad would keep up with when I was younger is he would always call for me to come to the Isha prayer with him at the mosque, which is the night prayer. And I remember many times I would think that I was too busy to go and I would be doing something else, so it would be a burden on me, but it was just something that I didn't appreciate at the time, and something that I didn't necessarily appreciate until I was older. And the Muslim community in Flint is so tight that it was nice going to the mosque and praying and seeing all these other people coming together and praying together, and that brings you closer to people who are similar to you, and that's one thing that's so important, and something that I didn't even realize until I was older. And it helps because when I go to Egypt, even though I don't live there and I live in America, my parents made sure that I have this Egyptian culture with me here at home. So when I go to Egypt, even though it's not necessarily home, it feels like home. And one thing that definitely makes home wherever I am with family is cooking and food, because my mom always makes sure to have Egyptian culture in our cooking and Egyptian food and classic Egyptian dishes that she grew up with and that I grew up with when we would visit my grandma in Egypt and she would make. And when we live in America and my mom cooks these dishes, it reminds me of maybe when I was 6 years old and we went to my grandma's house in Egypt and she made a specific dish, or another time when we were eating by the beach in Egypt in Alexandria, and that just ties it all together for me. And with me today, I have a few clay pots I brought from my own home, which we brought over from Egypt years ago. My mom uses these pots from time to time to make some of my favorite classic Egyptian dishes. The ones in Egypt come in a variety of shapes and sizes and colors and can be decorated with different glazes and paints and decorations. What fascinates me most is that clay pots are some of the most ancient basic cooking tools and they're still used today. Many of these pots and tools are passed down from generation to generation, and some have even found their way into our home in Michigan all the way from Egypt. What stands out to me the most is that these simple things that I've talked about, which portray a lot of the Egyptian culture that my parents grew up with, aren't forced on me or my siblings. They're just how we grew up, just like how my parents grew up in Egypt. And although I'll never have it exactly how my parents had it, that's what makes my siblings and I who we are, Egyptian Americans.